What's up everyone, Wesley Malott here, and it is Oscars week. That's right, we are just days away from the 92nd Academy Awards ceremony. That means we are going to make our final predictions for what is going to win on Sunday. And this year I am betting on the Oscars, so as I go down through my final predictions, I'm going to fill you in on what I'm betting on. So as always, this is what I think is going to win, not what I think should win. That is a completely different conversation that'll take a lot more time. We're trying to keep this video kind of as short as possible, not that mammoth 30-minute video that I released whenever the Academy Award nominations first came out, where I kind of talked about my reactions and snubs and initial predictions. Some of my predictions have changed, so with all of that being said, let's jump in. Now I've got my handy dandy notes here, so I will be looking down throughout this video to reference them, so apologies in advance, but let's get started with the short subject awards. First up we have documentary, and the nominees are In the Absence, Learning to Skateboard in a War Zone If You're a Girl, Life Overtakes Me, St. Louis Superman, and Walk, Run, Cha-Cha. Now, I personally haven't seen any of these movies, so I'm just going to go take a shot in the dark and say Learning to Skateboard takes this. Moving on to short film live action and short film animated, I did get the pleasure of seeing these movies, and I highly recommend all of them. They are all fantastic. But for short film live action, I think it's a tough one. So Brotherhood, Nefta Football Club, The Neighbor's Window, Saria, and A Sister. I could really see Saria taking this because it's an important film with an important story that needs to be heard, but my personal favorite and the one I'm gonna pick is A Sister because damn, that movie was intense. And for short film animated, the nominees are Dechera, Hair Love, Kit Bull, Memorable, and Sister. I'm gonna go with Hair Love because I think it's a really touching story with some impressive animation, and I think that will hit home with the voters. So Hair Love's my pick. I could see Kit Bull winning. That was a really fun and equally moving short film, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Hair Love will win this award. Moving on to Best Visual Effects, which is one of the categories that I will be betting on Sunday. And I'll break down why I'm betting on this movie to win and why I think it's kind of a good bet. So for the nominees, we have Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion King, 1917, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. The favorite to take home this award is 1917. So right now, it's a negative 125 favorite, which means you have to bet $125 to win $100. I think it's a very likely possibility that 1917 does take the award, but I'm not going to pick it to win. 1917, Avengers Endgame, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, we've seen all these visual effects 1,000 times. I'm going to go out on a limb that the Academy is going to look more at The Irishman and The Lion King. One thing that I think discredits The Lion King is it really is more of an animated film, so I could see the voters counting that against that film. So I'm personally picking The Irishman to win because I think that a lot of voters are going to see what they did throughout that 3.5-hour movie with the entire de-aging process, and it's pretty seamless, and the Academy really likes seamless visual effects. If you go back a couple years ago, Ex Machina won the award for Best Visual Effects over films that were more heavily favored, such as I think another Star Wars movie was up for Best Visual Effects that year. I know a lot of people think that the visual effects in that movie were bad. I mean, I don't think they were bad. They were jarring, yes, because you're used to seeing... We know Robert De Niro as he looks this way at this age because we grew up with his movies. And whenever you first see him looking young, we know that's not how he looked, so it was very jarring at first. So I think the fact that we hadn't really seen an entire movie de-aged like this before is really going to resonate with voters, so I'm picking The Irishman to win Best Visual Effects on Sunday. To expand on all that, I really like the odds that The Irishman is getting. It's a plus 500 underdog, which means if you bet $100, you will win $500. Now, like I said, I could see 1917 taking home this award, but I really like the odds, and I think there's a much better shot of The Irishman winning than those plus 500 odds suggest. So that's why I'm betting on The Irishman to win on Sunday. Moving on to Best Film Editing, this is another category that I am debating putting money on. I haven't decided yet who I'm going to bet on, but the nominees are Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite. Parasite is the favorite at I believe it's a negative 125, which means you have to bet $125 to win $100. I'm leaning towards that winning, but I am tempted to bet on Ford versus Ferrari winning because that movie is impeccably edited and those race scenes are so intense, and I think that could really resonate with voters. And it did receive 4 Academy Award nominations. It's entirely possible that it goes home empty-handed, but out of everything in that movie, the editing and the sound are its strongest points. So it would really suck if it did go home empty-handed, especially in those tech categories where I think that movie kind of thrives. So gun to head, I think Parasite's gonna win, but I'm debating making the switch and betting on Ford versus Ferrari to win because it is an underdog and very well could win that award on Sunday. But Parasite's my pick for now. Production design, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, 1917, Parasite, and Jojo Rabbit. Right now, Parasite is the favorite to win this award, but I'm still going with what I thought back whenever these awards were announced. I'm going with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to win. Best Cinematography, this is one of the biggest locks of the night to win. I don't even need to announce the other nominees. 1917, Roger Deakins, he is taking home a second Oscar. It's a done deal. Best Costume Design, the nominees are The Irishman, Little Women, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is one of those categories that I think is still kind of up in the air because of the other award ceremonies have kind of been all over the place. Like Jojo Rabbit won for the Costume Designers Guild. I don't know what the name of that guild is off the top of my head. But and then there's a lot of love for what the costume designers did with the costumes for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But I'm still gonna stick with my initial prediction because Hollywood loves period pieces and I think Little Women's gonna take home that award. That's a category that I would consider betting on if I had more knowledge and more confidence, but the confidence just isn't there for me to say, like, I really like the odds of this particular movie in this category. I could see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood winning it, I can see Jojo Rabbit winning it, and I can see Little Women winning it. I don't know, I think Little Women's gonna win that award, but I'm not confident enough to bet on it. Makeup and hairstyling, the nominees are Bombshell, Joker, Maleficent, Judy, and 1917. Sticking with my initial prediction again, it's the favorite to win. I'm going with Bombshell. Now we're gonna get into another couple categories that I'm thinking about placing some bets on, and that is sound editing and sound mixing. The nominees for sound editing are Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. The nominees for sound mixing are Ad Astra, Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Generally, these two categories tend to go to the same winner. However, for some reason, I'm really feeling like this might be a split year. So for sound editing, I'm going to pick 1917 to win, and I'm not going to bet on that category because it is the favorite to win both of these categories. But I'm going to bet on Ford versus Ferrari to win sound mixing. It's got solid odds, it is the underdog, and I think there's a really good chance that it takes home one, if not both of those awards, because it sounds great. So Ford versus Ferrari, that's who I'm picking for sound mixing, and 1917, that's who I'm picking for sound editing. Best original song, Rocket Man's got that one locked down. Not gonna bet on it because the odds are astronomical. I think they're like negative 1,600, and that means you have to bet $1,600 to win $100. I know that sounds a lot, but there are far worse odds out there for a couple of these categories, and I'll talk about those when I get there, but Rocket Man's gonna win Best Original Song. Best Original Score, the nominees are 1917, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. I'm going with my initial prediction for this award. I think Joker's gonna win. The score was really good. It's one of the strongest points of the movie, and I think that it resonated with the voters. Best International Feature Film, and I don't really need to tell you the other nominees because Parasite's going to win this. When I said earlier that there are far worse odds out there, this is the absolute guaranteed lock of the night. The odds for it to win Best International Feature Film are negative 6,000, which means you have to bet $6,000 to win $100. It is the absolute worst odds of the night. It's insanity. Moving on. Documentary feature, American Factory, The Cave, Edge of Democracy, For Sama, and Honeyland. This is a category that I'm thinking about betting on because of the odds. I know that American Factory is the favorite to win the award on Sunday, but I'm really thinking about placing a bet for Sama because of the odds. Sama is currently a plus 175 underdog, so if I bet $100 on it, I would win 175, whereas American Factory is a negative 200 favorite. I'm still debating whether I want to bet on this category because I haven't seen any of these movies, and when I make a bet on something, I like to at least understand what I'm betting on, but I'm leaning towards American Factory to win, but I'm thinking about placing a bet on the underdog for Sama. For now, though, I'm going on record and saying American Factory. That's my pick on my ballot currently. Best Animated Feature, the nominees are How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Claws, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. Another category I'm betting on, Toy Story 4 is the favorite here, but I'm picking Claws to win. Again, I really like the odds. Claws has won some big awards leading up to this, and I think we're going to see an upset in this category on Sunday. Now finally, we are on the big 8 awards. We're on to the Screenplay Awards, we're on to the Acting Awards, we're on to Best Director, and we're on to Best Picture. Let's first get into Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Knives Out, 1917, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. Now back whenever I made my initial predictions video, I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a lock to win this award. However, Parasite has pretty much won every original screenplay award since then. The one thing that is making me hesitate a little bit is that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not nominated at the WGA because Quentin Tarantino is not a member. So I'm really kind of torn here. On one hand, I can really see Parasite winning. On the other hand, the Academy loves Quentin Tarantino. Will they not really give him another Best Screenplay Oscar? Or will people really think that he has 2 already and they'll recognize the true originality and brilliance of the writing of Parasite? This is one of the categories of the night where I am most conflicted because I could really see either of those screenplays winning. And that's why I kind of don't feel like I should bet on this category. Gun to my head, I would probably go with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I guess that's going to be my pick for my final predictions here, but I might change my mind when it comes to Sunday. I'm just not that 100% confident in my pick because Parasite's brilliant and I could see that resonating with the voters, and it could win. Adapted screenplay, when my initial predictions video came out, I picked Little Women, I think, to win. Either Little Women or The Irishman, I can't remember. I think I might have actually picked The Irishman. Then I thought, because of all the love Little Women was getting, that was going to win Best Adapted Screenplay. Then Jojo Rabbit started sweeping all of the Adapted Screenplay awards, so Jojo Rabbit's my pick to win Best Adapted on Sunday night. It is the favorite. Not going to bet on that category, though. Don't really like the odds there. So for these acting awards, they're all locks. I don't really need to go through all the nominees because there is not one upset happening here. All of the winners in these categories are huge, astronomical favorites. So Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Brad Pitt. He's got that on lockdown. Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Laura Dern for A Marriage Story. Best Actor in a Leading Role, Joaquin Phoenix in Joker. And Best Actress in a Leading Role, Renee Zellweger for Judy. Like I said, these are all locks, but I'm not going to bet on them because the odds are astronomical. And to put it into perspective here, let me read off some of these odds. Brad Pitt, negative 2,400, which means $2,400 to win 100. Renee Zellweger, $2,000 to win 100. Joaquin Phoenix, $2,500 to win 100. And Laura Dern, $1,600 to win 100. All huge favorites, all locks to win. Not betting on any of those. Moving on to Best Director. The nominees for Best Director are Sam Mendes, Bong Joon-ho, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, and Todd Phillips. This race really comes down to two people, Sam Mendes and Bong Joon-ho. I think it's a pretty much guaranteed lock that Sam Mendes wins on Sunday night. However, there is a strong contingent that believes Bong Joon-ho should win for Parasite. With all that being said, I don't really like the odds that Bong Joon-ho is getting because I think it is very, 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 very likely that Sam Mendes is going to win that award because 1917 is an amazing technical achievement and Hollywood loves that stuff. Not to say that Parasite or any of the other nominees didn't have strong technical achievements, but 1917, far and away, I think is going to pick up. My light died. I'm sorry. I apologize. So now I have a lot more contrast on my face. 1917, Sam Mendes, he's winning Best Director. I'm personally not going to bet on it because he is a negative 1,400 favorite, which means $1,400 to win 100. Not gonna touch that. Now we are on to the big category of the night, and sadly at this moment I have not seen all of the nominees. I still have to see Little Women and I still have to see Jojo Rabbit before Sunday, which I fully intend to do and I am going to do so. However, jumping into the nominees, they are 1917, Parasite, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Jojo Rabbit, Little Women, Marriage Story, Ford vs. Ferrari, and Joker. There are a lot of different theories floating around on film Twitter and on the internet about what is going to win. There's a strong case for 1917. There's a strong case for Parasite. There are people that think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going to upset the odds and win. And there's actually people out there that think the preferential ballot favors a film like Jojo Rabbit and it's going to pull off a huge upset on Sunday. I'm not going to go down the route of thinking Jojo Rabbit can pull that upset off. I think there is a lot of hate for that movie and a lot of love, so I can see that movie being on the higher end of people's ballots and I can see that movie being on the lower end of people's ballots. I think the two most likely winners are 1917 and Parasite because I think they're more likely to be higher on people's ballots than they are lower. 1917 is the current favorite. It's been winning everything. It's currently at negative 250, which means $250 to win 100. Parasite Parasite, on the other hand, is an underdog, and it's currently plus 275, which means if you bet $100, you will win $275. Guys, I know that 1917 is an amazing movie, and I think it very well could win Best Picture on Sunday night. But I'm sticking with my gut instinct here. When I left the theater seeing Parasite, I just felt like I saw something special. And that is my pick to win Best Picture on Sunday night. It's really resonating with voters. At the SAG Awards, it got a standing ovation. And damn, it is just a brilliant movie. I don't throw the word masterpiece around often, but it's a masterpiece. It really is that freaking good. And I really like the fact that it's an underdog. So Parasite is my pick for Best Picture on Sunday night, and I am going to bet money on it to win. I really hope it does win. Like I said, I could see it going to 1917 because it is the favorite, but man, I'm sticking with my instincts here and picking Parasite to win on Sunday. Now, I am curious to hear what you think is going to win on Sunday. If you differ from me, let me know. If you're betting on the Oscars, let me know. I'm really curious to hear what you're picking and what you're betting on. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next week when we jump back into filmmaking content. See you guys.